Oh, Black Ops 6, a game that I was very nervous going into. We've seen it all before, with Treyarch insisting that this will be a zombies mode that will return to form and will cater to the hardcore players. I am an OG zombies player who's been playing since BO1 Kino, and I've played every single map, and I've done every single Easter egg. And despite being an OG player, I don't want to look at this game through that lens. I believe that OG Zombies is a thing of the past, and I'm sure if OG Zombies were to be released today, it'd be a massive flop, but that'll be a story for a different day. At the end of the day, the devs have said that this is a Cold War sequel game, and that everything they didn't have time to put in that game, they've put it in this one. So if I compare this game to anything, it will be Cold War. With that being said, let's get started with this game being on Game Pass single-handedly makes this game 10 times more accessible to a bigger audience of players. According to many sources, this game has seen a 159% increase in players since the introduction of Call of Duty on Game Pass. This game will be a lot of people's first experience with zombies. For people who want to try this mode, it will take around $12 with Game Pass, which is a lot better than the $70 to straight up buy the game. So I think it's super important that we get this round-based experience right, so that not only the hardcore players can enjoy it, but also the new players that will be joining us as well. Saving on solo is such an amazing feature to have in zombies. As someone who plays a decent amount of solo zombies, and as someone who doesn't have big stretches of times to commit to one game, this is an awesome feature. Being able to play for an hour here and there on one game just makes the entry to high rounding so much easier. In previous games, one of the turnoffs for high rounds was the time commitment. I just don't have all the time in the world to sit around and play zombies all day. I also don't want to leave my Xbox or PC on all night to continue my game the next day. If you look at any high rounds on previous games like BO1 and BO2, you will see that the games can last up to 100 hours of in-game time. And with those games, you can never leave, turn off your Xbox, or play anything else until you complete that game. And for me, that is just absolutely absurd. Being able to save your game and come back at a later date just straight up fixes that issue. Augments are a straight up improvement from the Cold War system. How augments work in this game is that you are given one research slot and can pick from a perk, ammo mod, or field upgrade to research. Once chosen, all you have to do is play the game and it will slowly unlock for you. For each item that you research, you are given one major and one minor upgrade. Each major and minor upgrade gives you 3 different options to choose from. The major upgrade usually gives you an extra ability, while the minor one gives you more of a stats upgrade. This is an improvement over the Cold War system because you were able to equip all upgrades and felt unstoppable once you unlocked everything. This is just not an issue in BO6, since you have to pick and choose what upgrades you want. For example, if you want to use Dr. Ram on PhD Flopper, you are unable to use PhD Slider. It limits the amount of power that you have, but gives you more of a choice in how you want to play. SAM trials are the best version of challenges we've gotten in any single COD game ever. Better than BO2, it's better than BO3, and it's just a straight up improvement from Cold War. The way the challenges work is that once every couple rounds, the SAM trial spawns in a random part of the map. Once you activate this trial, one of 2 different trials will start. The first trial is a location-dependent trial, where the location plays a factor in what you're doing for that challenge. This can be as simple as hold down the location or use a trap in that specific location. The second type of trial is a non-location dependent trial. These type of challenges can include headshots, the use of a kill streak, or get equipment kills. And in most of these trials, they give you the upgrade that you need. For example, if you need to get mutant injection kills, they give you a free mutant injection to use just for that trial. Also, in these version of trials, your progress counts only towards that trial. So if you don't get the best reward, you'll have to try in the next one and start all over. In Cold War, the trial location was always in one spot, and it forced you to run to different parts of the map to even start the trial. With the SAM trials moving to different locations, this completely fixes the issue from Cold War. Also, the SAM AI actually has some good voice lines to go with these trials. And also a side note, why does she say minor like that? Just kinda weird. Minor success you are experiencing. Gobblegums were one of the features that I was actually worried about going into BO6. In BO3, I was never really a fan of Gobblegums. The classics were the only Gobblegums I actually used, because the megas were just way too overpowered and weren't fun to use. Having a power vacuum in round robin as a Gobblegum is just an unbalanced feature to have in a zombies mode. This isn't even getting into the pay-to-win aspect of Gobblegums. So you could see my concern when they introduced Gobblegums back into the game. All I saw was a way for them to turn nostalgia into another way to milk money from us. And despite all of this, I actually like the Gobblegums. In this game, you just have the megas, no classics, but you earn them a lot faster than you did in BO3, and you don't have to go through the trouble of spinning the Dr. Monty's factory. It just does it all for you in the game. And at least so far as of Season 1, we don't have extremely OP Mega Gobblegums, but we'll have to wait to see if they add OP Gobblegums in the future. I know for a lot of OG Zombies players, Directed Mode is a very controversial feature added to the game. Basically, putting a quest mode into the game, like Zombies, is going to rub hardcore players the wrong way. But I actually think this is a very positive change. During Cold War's life cycle, Treyarch came out and said that less than 2% of Zombies players completed a single Easter egg. This is just a crazy statistic for a game developer to hear. Imagine putting all of this work into making a cool quest for people to follow, have a storyline, and further enhance the map, and even have a cool boss fight at the end for just less than 2% of the player base to even see it. Something needed to change, and I think Directed Mode is the perfect solution that I never thought we even needed. Directed Mode gives people the chance to experience a feature of the game that they would have never figured out on their own. One of the not so fun parts of playing Zombies is having to look up a YouTube tutorial on how to do the Easter egg or anything to do in the map. Now they have put the YouTube tutorial in the game, which I think is a positive. If I plan to do an Easter egg in the future, I will only be playing Directed Mode to do so. Rewards for Easter egg completions is something that I have been wanting for a long time in Zombies. In the past couple games, once you have completed an Easter egg, the game just ends. They will kick you out and you will no longer be able to continue with that game. So instead of an Easter egg being a part of your playthrough, it becomes the only thing that you are doing. Because again, once you complete the Easter egg, the game ends. But in BO6, they give you the option if you want to end the game or continue with your playthrough. This gives Zombies players that only want to do the Easter egg to be able to quit right away. But for people like myself who want to continue playing, you totally can. If you do decide to continue, the reward for doing so is a bunch of high tier loot, like ray guns and tier 3 pack-a-punch. You also get rewards like operator skins, calling cards, charms once you complete the Easter egg for the first time, which gives you more incentive to play them. Bonus points! In this section, I am going to be talking about the little things that I enjoy about this game. The Terminus boss fight is one of the coolest ones we have experienced to this day. Patient 13, the boss itself, is actually pretty physically threatening, has ties with the map, and is actually, from a gameplay perspective, pretty hard if you go into this boss fight blind. The death animations in this game are super cool. I like when you die from an enemy and it gives you an animation of that zombie killing you. Every single zombie type in the game has one of these animations, and it's very cool to look at them all. Around both of the maps, you can find zombies that are interacting with the map. You turn the corner and you see a zombie eating a dead guy, or a zombie that is trapped inside of a car. In Terminus, you can see zombies that are getting experimented on in the biolab, and you can kill them for little extra points. My favorite is the zombie that is trapped under the car, but if you give it enough time, it will break off from its trapped legs and become a crawler and chase after you. I'm not sure if this was something that was in Cold War or not, but if you throw a grenade at an abomination while its head is open, it will swallow the grenade and it will blow up one of its heads. Third person is a feature that I actually used a lot more than I was expecting. Third person mode gives a different vibe to zombies that I actually don't really hate at all. Some of the weapons in the game, like Dark Flare and Ray Gun, kind of feel awkward to use. Overall, it's a different way to play zombies that everyone should try at least one time. Zombie Builds is a super cool feature that lets all weapons you get from the wall or the box have the camos and attachments that you need. One of the main reasons that I did not use the box in Cold War is because when you would grab a weapon, it could have a random attachment, like a 6x scope, or not have a suppressor on it. I'm going to get into the rest of the kill streaks a little later on in this video, but I want to say that the Mutant Injection and the Mangler Cannon are exempt from these issues. The Mutant Injection is super unique to zombies, and I think it's a callback to the Spider Bait Easter egg from Zetsubou no Shima, which was one of the most unique Easter eggs from that game, and of all time. In older games, when you upgraded some guns, they would change the properties that they have. The most famous example was the Mustang and Sally's. This is a feature with the new weapon system that I thought was never going to return. I was surprised when I saw the GS-45s were able to become the Mustang and Sally's when packed. Other guns in this game also change upgrades, like one of the snipers can turn into the scavenger. I hope with future DLC weapons, they add on to this concept and add new features to weapons. I absolutely love how this game has a dedicated melee slot. It gives me more of an incentive to use my melee weapons that I collect throughout the game, and it lets me spawn in with the melee weapons that I like, and it doesn't make me sacrifice a weapon slot. The Arsenal machine is an improvement over the armor station in Cold War. This time around, the Arsenal machine actually has a voice that will give you fun quotes about upgrading your weapons and giving you ammo mods. The Arsenal machine kind of gives me a Klaus vibe, which I kind of like. The side Easter eggs in this game are very unique. The Aetherella one in particular is one of the coolest side Easter eggs that we've ever had in Zombies. They also have other side Easter eggs like the boat race and Whack-A-Crab from Terminus. Hopefully they add more side Easter eggs like this in the future. These grievances are in no particular order, but if I had to put one up at the top, it would be this one. The fact that this game is always online. This game needing to have an online connection just instantly will make this game one day unplayable. Once the servers go down, this will just be lost media. Also, when this game becomes outdated and the hackers take over, you will not be able to play this game since you won't have access to local play. Another issue with this is that now you are only able to pause solo matches for 15 minutes until it completely kicks you out of the game. Also, you are now unable to pause a co-op match at all, which takes away another feature that was present in other games like Cold War. The Warzone influence in this game is another thing that doesn't sit right with me. Zombies has always been a mode that has been separate from Call of Duty. It was the chance for the mode to introduce crazy ideas like teleporters, wonder weapons, and I find it crazy that after all we've been through, we are now resorting to a more military-like feeling zombies. Another issue I have is the menu. I just hate how it looks. It looks like multiplayer with a zombies filter over it. I wish we can go back to the more unique looking menu screens like BO2, where you were traveling around the earth to pick your map. Having kill streaks that are now in the sky like a chopper gunner and Hellstorm missile just completely take me out of the game. How are we supposed to be surviving on this island when I could just call on a chopper gunner from wherever I am on the map? This idea kinda made sense in Cold War, but it just does not fit with the vibe that BO6 is trying to have with its story. Speaking about the story, I'm not sure if I'm the only one who thinks this, but this is the 4th game in the Dark Aether story, and I am just still not invested. We've had Cold War, which was the setup for the next game. We had Vanguard, which explored the Dark Aether and demons. And we had MW3, which had ties to the future of our characters. And after that, I'm just still not invested. I have a whole other rant about the ending of Terminus just being an MCU reference bait, because why is the Chaos story becoming canon in this game? It's like they couldn't come up with anything else and decided, well, since we can't come up with our own original ideas, at least we can look to the past. This next part is about leaks, so if you don't potentially want to hear that, I suggest you skip to the next section. Why are they potentially bringing back the Primus crew? I have lost all faith in Treyarch if this happens. Why end the original storyline if you're just going to start it back up anyways? Do you guys have no faith in your writing department to cook up some heat when it comes to this story? I was already a little worried when Sam came back, and then they ended Cold War and they added Richtofen, and I was even more worried after that. Like I've said previously, they can still make a good story like they have with the stories inside the map, but why are they fumbling with the main story? And this will always baffle me. Melee and Macchiato, I had so much faith you were going to be good. Why does the melee for this feel so delayed? It takes like over a second to actually melee with the fist, which does not feel good at all. Well, I mean, hopefully the fist ability is, super powerful and can kill multiple zombies with no health cap, right? Oh wait, of course not. It stops one-hitting after round 20 and only hits one zombie at a time with no augments. What about with the augments, you may be asking? Oh yeah, there's one that now hits till round 25. Incredible. In my opinion, the fist part of the ability should one-hit forever. It's crazy that I have to invest into a perk for my melee to not one-hit past round 20. Boss spam has been one of the main complaints with this game, and I am no different. Just cut it out with the boss zombie spam. It's absolutely crazy that I can have up to 10 boss zombies spawn at a time. Manglers, abominations, amalgams, they're just too much. It would be a lot better if we had a way of dealing with them, but the only solutions are the tentacle trap on Terminus, which I actually think is a good idea with dealing with them. But in Liberty Falls, you're just screwed if you ever want to kill a zombie past round 31. I haven't even mentioned that all of these boss zombie types can just throw the horde around, making it impossible to train zombies at all. It makes it so that the only viable high round strategy becomes killstreak spamming in a corner, which when that is the only way you can get to high rounds just makes me not want to do them. It also doesn't help when most of these zombies have range attacks. So if you have 10 manglers all shooting at you at once, it's basically impossible to keep your armor up and dodge all of their attacks. I hate the armored zombies in this game. I hated them in Cold War, I hated them in Vanguard, but when does Treyarch insist on having bullet sponges as base zombies? It's just no fun. These guys are the reason why your guns are doing no damage. Most weapons in the game have a big crit multiplier, so if you're not hitting headshots, you're just doing no damage. So why would they introduce a common enemy type that is immune to crit damage until you break its helmet? It does nothing but further waste your time, ammo, and enjoyment from the game. If you want armored zombies to return in the next maps, get rid of their helmet and only put it on their chest to incentivize headshots. This new point system is something that I really wanted to like, but the more that I use it, the more that I see the issue with it. Zombies has always encouraged you to use multiple types of weapons throughout the game. In the first couple of rounds, you use your pistol to shoot the zombies in the leg and then go for your knife. You progress through the rounds and find an SMG on the wall and spray into the zombies to save up for Pack-a-Punch and perks. After you're finished with the SMG, you move on to a more high damaging weapon, like an AR, shotgun, or LMG. The old point system gave you a reason to use all weapon types throughout the match. Now that we're on a kill-based point system, there's no reason to use any other weapon than the one that you spawn in with. Another problem with this new point system is that you can never get ahead. With the old point system, it was very easy to get ahead from where the game thinks you are. If you were smart, you would try to use your knife and get the most amount of points as possible. But now, since the game knows how many points you've gotten per zombie, they can now tell what pack level and what rarity level you are in any given match. Now that they're able to scale the zombies to what you're supposed to be damage-wise, there's no point in the game where you outperform the zombies, which is just sad because that was one of the original draws to zombies. You started off with just a pistol and knife and ended up becoming a lot more powerful than the zombies. I just don't get that feeling anymore, and I fear that that part of zombies will just be lost to time. Bonus points! In this section, I'll be going over the nitpicks that I have with this game, starting with, why am I unable to look at my camo challenges mid-match? They had this feature in Modern Warfare 3, so I'm just confused how it's not in this game. Melee Macchiato has this weird thing when you back out of menus using the B button on Xbox. You melee even though you only hit one button. This doesn't happen with the regular melee, it's just Melee Macchiato. The HUD customization is super cool, and gives you more ways to customize your game. But they don't give you an option to have a HUD customization for zombies and another one for multiplayer. So, if you want to have the no minimap HUD on zombies, now every time you play multiplayer, you have to remember to swap it back to the old HUD. Also, sometimes your HUD just resets for no reason, which is why I just now use the default HUD. Why do vermin rounds take just as long as the zombie rounds? This is something that actually is baffling to hear happen. The vermin rounds are no fun when they're longer and just drag the game on for no reason. Knifing giving you less points than a headshot just seems so backwards to me. Knifing in zombies is super risky to do. It makes you more prone to getting hit, and you should be rewarded for playing a little riskier, but instead you're punished by playing that way. I hate that every time I want to play a zombies match with my friends, I have to turn off squad fill. Squad fill should 1, not be on as default, and 2, should be in its own separate game mode so I don't accidentally click it. Despite the negatives that come with this game, BO6 has the potential to be one of the best zombie games that Call of Duty has ever seen. The amount of positive changes like save and quit, directed mode, amazing launch maps, and the plethora of side Easter eggs all come together to create an amazing base zombies experience. If they continue this streak of updates and positive changes, we might look at this game like how we look at BO3 now. If you made it to the end of the video, let me know how you thought. Make sure to type in the comments that Black Ops 6 is better than BO3, just to let me know that you watched the video. Also, if you guys want to see me take a deep dive into Terminus and Liberty Falls, let me know. Those reviews might need to go on the back burner for a while since DLC 1 is around the corner. Well, that's all for now. Thanks everyone.